Hello. Come on in, guys. I have some exciting things to talk about, to touch on, and to just hang out with you for a few minutes. How are you? Say hello. Tell us where you're from. Have you gotten the book? What chapter are you on? Have you signed up for my amazing event with Dr. Gabor Mate? It's on June 2nd. You get a signed copy of the book and you get a fabulous discussion between Dr. Mate and myself for an hour and a half. Hi, guys. So I've been getting a lot of feedback on the book, and women the world over especially are finding deep connection with the book, with what I write about, and some men are having a problem. The men who are having a problem are threatened by what I talk about here. That women need to step up to their worth, that they need to engage their own inner power, not over anyone. True power is never over anyone, but their true empowerment, and that they need to allow themselves to take space that typically was relinquished to patriarchy, to the men. This is not a book against any man. It is a book against the systemic silencing and subjugation that we women have endured, but now do it to ourselves. Jenna is on chapter 3. The June 2nd event with Dr. Gabor Mate is posted here in one of the comments by Andrea on my team. So register for the event. It's this coming, I don't know, when is it? June 2nd. It's coming up. It's next week on Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't remember. But anyway, my life is so busy with this launch. But it's on June 2nd with Dr. Gabor Mate, 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and $39 and a signed copy of the book. Come on. That's a good deal. We're here to share our messages, and we're here to empower you to live your life with more consciousness. So, this book is a bit of a shit disturber, okay? It's a bit of a rabble-rouser. It shifts paradigms. It breaks establishment. It challenges hierarchies. It questions the status quo. It demands that you look in the mirror. It seriously, urgently demands that we do not simply allow the way things have been. All my books, in their own subtle and not so subtle ways, I write a lot of poetry to make my message palatable and sweet. All my books are about breaking the current status quo. We are at a moment of a global awakening. For the first time in many of our lifetimes, we have ubiquitously, universally experienced a trauma together. The pandemic has been the first unifying experience, really, where across the board we have all been exposed to the same vulnerability. It has brought us all to our knees. There was no discrimination. Money couldn't buy you out. Celebrity couldn't take you away from the tragedy. It was a great and is a great equalizer. But what can we learn from this? How have we grown from this? Well, we've understood one thing for sure, that the inequities that exist can exist no more. The toxic hierarchies that exist need to be toppled. That we need to understand that those who are oppressed need to rise. Even what's happening in Israel and Palestine needs to end. Enough already. What's happening between blacks and whites needs to end already. And what's happening between men and women in terms of the patriarchy and the subjugation of women needs to end. So the pandemic has been a huge potential for a colossal, once in a millennium wake-up call to really turn all our archaic, primitive systems on their head and truly look at ourselves in the mirror. We can't hide anymore. We're not going to hide anymore. We are going to transform the toxicity to a better place. But that takes each one of us to awaken. So how does one do that? If you're oppressed in your micro relationship or at your job or systemically as a black person or in a country out there fighting with another country that's your neighbor, but you're enduring oppression, how do we break systems? Well, we do it through a movement. We need to organize around a movement, and we need to solidify against inequity. It can only be done, though, when each one of us wakes up to the awareness that this is not okay anymore. This needs to change. The next thing we do is we ask, what can we do about it? What do I consciously want to do about it? Someone can write a blog post. Someone can write a book. Someone can take to the streets. Someone can open their doors to the oppressed. Someone can save a brother, save a sister. You don't have to do what everyone else is doing, but you gotta do something. You gotta do something. Inaction, as you know, is apathy. Apathy is as good as the oppressor. The oppressor is vindictive and explicit, but the apathetic one is vindictive and implicit. But it's the same amount of toxicity if you don't do something. You don't have to go out on the street if you have 2 children at home. Stay at home. But what are you going to do at home? When your cousins on the dining table are blatantly racist or blatantly sexist or blatantly whatever, how are you going to step up? Or if your partner puts you down, aren't you going to stand up for yourself? So this book is that book to go, hey, we got to do our part in our own lives. We got to wake up in our own bodies and understand our own sacred worth. Because when we understand our own sacred worth, we will understand the worth of others. It is the heart that is severed from itself that allows the severance of other people's power. When you are connected to your own worth in an authentic way, not in a blind, conditioned, robotic way, you will automatically preserve the worth of others. So this book is a wake-up call to women. It's a very, very personal book. I share my story, but it's also a radically systemic book. It's meant for you, but it's meant for every sister out there. And it's meant for culture. So it's all written in there in a very subtle way, but it's all in here. And through the personal, I make it political. And every political liberation ultimately starts at a very personal level. There is no one who can revolutionize the world who hasn't first revolutionized themselves. So don't think that those people out there are amazing. You are amazing. You are the one who can change first your own life, then your family's life, in whatever way they will allow you, then your friends, and then it goes out. Some people are extroverts, so they go straight out. Some people are organizers. Dr. King, Mahatma Gandhi, they go straight out. You don't have to do that, but you got to change your own life. You got to end the oppression in your life, by yourself, the way you oppress yourself. Right, West Country interior design. I don't feel amazing. Exactly. The first oppressor is the one that lives in our mind. The first critic of the outside world is the one that lives in your own inside world. So nothing is going to change on the outside in a lasting way, in a conscious way, if you don't change from within. When women wake up to their self-worth, we begin to check the toxic patriarchy. We go, hey. When our men are forgetting to be conscious, we can go, hey, I remind you, you can't do that anymore. You got to evolve. And we do it with love. We're not against any man, because the men are part of the systemic patriarchy themselves. They don't know, they've been raised to be unconscious. So who's going to teach them? It's not our job to teach them, but it is our job to check them. It is our job to own our own part in this and to begin to take care of ourselves. We don't wait for anyone to do it for us. We need to do it for ourselves. So that is what we need to break. Yes, those cycles. The cycles show up everywhere. In every country, there is a history of the oppressor and the oppressed. In every household, there is the history of the oppressor and the oppressed. And in every mind, there is a legacy of inner oppressed and inner oppressor and inner critic and inner judger and inner shamer. You know it. All of us live with it inside because we inherit it from outside. So nothing is going to change outside in the long run if there is not a true awakening from within. Somebody just read my book and she sent me a text and she said, OMG, this book is no joke. And I said, no, it's perhaps my most important book, more than my parenting books, because my parenting books are a little bit easier, I think, because for the sake of your children, you will kind of like do it, but you won't change yourself. And this one changes the adult. Like, we got to change the leaders, the men and women who are leading, right? Not just the parents, all men and all women. And it starts with this. So it's a thick book. It's 15 hours on Audible. Grab a copy for any woman that you know who needs to step into her power more. It's $17 on Amazon. It's worth a lifetime of freedom. That's what it will buy you. The possibility. Now you have to do your own work. You can read it, but you got to integrate it. The possibility of freedom. Yes, Olive says you are the one you've been waiting for. So yes, that's it. So Ricky started reading the book, reading it to slowly integrate all the information. Yes, this is a book that gently and compassionately doesn't stop. With a relentless, urgent wake up of your inner essence. It's about you stepping into your own power. It's about you radiating with your own sense of worth. And every woman deserves that. You deserve that. And through it, we will dismantle the toxic hierarchies so that we can restore a sense of inner and outer integration. So grab your copy, radicalawakening.com or at Amazon. Now, let me tell you about this great, amazing talk with Dr. Gabor Mate on June 2nd. You get a book if you register for the talk, if you are in the United States, but otherwise you can still register, I think. Just register. Come for it. It will move you. It will stir you. It will wake you up. It's $39, June 2nd. The link is in my bio or somewhere in the copy. And it's the two of us. Dr. Mate is an expert in the field of trauma, addiction, healing, connection. And I respect him so much. I couldn't have asked for a better partner in this discussion. And we are going to rock the talk. So June 2nd, come for it. It's going to be awesome. You get the recording for 90 days, and you can watch it from your bedroom in your pajamas with a glass of wine. Join us June 2nd. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Gaurav signed up. Bye, guys. Bye, guys.